Who's actually going to get the most out of a laptop that markets itself as both a high-end gamer and a creator's workstation? And for the rest of us who just want a solid machine for everyday tasks, does the price tag make sense? If you're sitting on the fence, wondering whether the Acer Predator Triton Neo 16 is the right fit, stick around. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I first saw the AI-powered claims, I thought it might be a marketing gimmick until I started digging into how those features actually affect day-to-day usage. The biggest hesitation for most buyers is the balance between raw gaming horsepower and the kind of multitasking a creator needs: video editing, 3D rendering, maybe a bit of streaming on the side. The Triton Neo tries to marry those worlds with a 16-inch WQXGA panel that runs at 240 Hz, an Intel Core Ultra 7, and an RTX 4060. It sounds impressive on paper, but the real question is whether the combination feels seamless in real life or if you end up compromising on one side or the other. Let's break it down by the scenarios you're most likely to run into. First, the gaming experience. I set the laptop up in a modest bedroom, plugged into a 144 Hz monitor for a side-by-side comparison, and fired up a few recent titles: Cyberpunk 2077, Valorant, and the latest release of Hogwarts Legacy. Thanks to the RTX 4060, the frame rate stayed comfortably above 60 frames per second on high-medium settings in Cyberpunk, even with ray tracing turned on. The 240 Hz display made the motion feel buttery in fast shooters, and the AI-assisted upscaling helped retain sharp textures without needing max settings everywhere. In practice, this means you can push a competitive edge without constantly tweaking in the middle of a match. The downside? The laptop draws a solid amount of power, and on the battery, the frame rate drops noticeably, so you're basically tethered to the wall for long gaming sessions. If you plan to game on the go, the battery life might feel underwhelming. Now onto the creator side. I transferred a 20-minute 4K footage to the machine and opened it in DaVinci Resolve. The 16 GB of LPDDR5X RAM paired with the 1 TB SSD offered a snappy timeline. Scrubbing through the footage was nearly instantaneous. The AI-powered graphics aren't just a buzzword here, they actually assisted in rendering previews faster than my older workstation with a GTX 1080. The AI-assisted noise reduction also proved handy when I tried cleaning up audio from a vlog I recorded in a coffee shop. The built-in algorithm reduced hiss without making the voice sound robotic. However, while the RTX 4060 handles most rendering tasks well, you'll notice a bottleneck when you start working with 8K footage or heavy 3D simulations. In those cases, the GPU's VRAM becomes a limiting factor, and you'll need to lower some quality settings or wait longer for renders. So if your creative workflow revolves around high-resolution, GPU-intensive projects, you might outgrow the machine faster than you'd like. Portability is another practical angle. The Triton Neo sits at about 4.4 pounds, which isn't a notebook you'll comfortably carry around all day, but it's definitely lighter than a typical desktop replacement. The cooling system is surprisingly quiet for a laptop that's pushing the RTX 4060 hard. The fans only ramp up when you're in the middle of an intense gaming raid or a heavy export. That's a nice trade-off because many gaming laptops get so noisy you can't record voiceovers without a separate mic. The only hidden trade-off is the thermal throttling after an hour of continuous max load. The CPU frequency dipped from its boost peak of 5.0 GHz down to the low 40 GHz range, which resulted in a slight slowdown in long rendering batches. If you plan to run marathon gaming sessions or unbroken 4K exports, you'll feel that throttling. Who should definitely consider this machine? If you're a college student or a young professional who wants a single device that can handle esports, occasional streaming, and decent video editing without investing in a separate desktop, the Triton Neo hits a sweet spot. The AI Copilot in Windows, which offers context-aware suggestions while you work, can be a time-saver for people who juggle assignments and side projects. Also, the 240 Hz screen gives you the confidence to compete in fast-paced shooters without the need for an external monitor, which is a plus for dorm room setups. Who should skip it? If you're a hardcore 3D artist who regularly works with Maya or Blender at 8K, the RTX 4060 will feel like a stepping stone rather than a destination. In that case, a workstation-class laptop with an RTX 4080 or higher will save you headaches down the road. Also, if you live a truly mobile lifestyle, think digital nomads who rely on CAF power sockets. In this context, the limited battery life and the need for a power outlet during long gaming or rendering sessions could be a deal-breaker. Value for money is the final piece of the puzzle. The price sits in the premium tier, but you're essentially buying three things in one: a high-refresh gaming display, AI-enhanced software tools, and a fairly capable creator workstation. If you compare it to